And hello, friends, kind viewers, patient audience. Hope you are all having a good week so far. I know it's still early. Today we're picking up episode 11, I think. Episode 11 of East Texas University Class Dismissed. And I have brought up the title page of the adventure that we are 3 sessions into playing, maybe with a little teaser 4 sessions ago. But I'd say this is the third solid session of Last Rites of the Black Guard. Savage Worlds, a rule set, a creation by Shane Hensley and Clint Black. Thank you for your hard work. Layering on top of the Savage Rules excellent rule set, of which we are playing Suede, the Savage Worlds Core Rule Adventuring Edition. Layered on top of that is the East Texas University setting. Preston DeBose, Ed Wetterman, thank you for your hard work. And the casual observer may see that Ed Wetterman is the author of the Last Rites of the Black Guard, the adventure that we are playing. And I have put on display briefly the sort of the title page of that adventure. It is the adventure that sort of stimulated me to get the band back together, as it were. Get this good group of folks to dust off their character sheets, and let's go another round of East Texas University. The Praetors Reject Channel. Duff, thanks so much for uploading these videos to YouTube, getting them out to the populace. I hope they spark just that extra bit of interest in your channel, as I and others are always interested in giving back to all the work that you do, and to help the Praetors Rejects channel continue to succeed, get new views on YouTube, maybe more subscribers, has a Twitch presence, of course a YouTube presence, and yeah, it's all good. Corey, my friend, thank you for originally running this East Texas University game. We enjoyed it so much that we decided just too many adventures and shenanigans were just left unwritten and unfulfilled. So we decided that we're going to pick up these characters and just run with them. Just keep playing, having fun. And of course, the occasional belly laugh, chuckle, or snort, of course, often occurs with hilarious results. Mamai, thank you for your artwork. You continue to astound and impress. Nightsteed, appreciate your quick sort of back of the napkin sketches as things happen. I know you're sketching out artwork. My current favorite is the Scooby-Doo like 3 or 4 heads poking around the side of a corner, as you were all involved in some hijinks, and did get a good chuckle out of that. And yeah, those are the introduction. I'm Eric the Dean. These are the players. And last time that we played, we got about a round or two into combat. We are below the house of Frank Mans, also known as Heimglimmer, the notorious Nazi doctor that worked in a concentration camp, performing all sorts of just unmentionable, hideous activities upon the unfortunates that were there imprisoned. Somehow he got to Pinebox, Texas, lived out the remainder of his days, passed away at 97 years old, and had a temple to the Egyptian god Osiris underneath his house. And that is where the study group currently finds themselves. I see 3 characters. Do a little quick catch up here. Let's bring up the combat tracker, which should have been left in the same state in which we left it when we stopped playing last week. It all looks good. It all looks good. I think we were right about to draw another initiative set of cards and to begin the next round. And let's bring up the map and make sure it all links together. That would be the map of the Temple of Osiris. And there is our study group. I have to pay attention to the fact that using OBS to record these videos truncates a little bit off the bottom of the screen. Let's see what the view in OBS appears to be. Yeah, I can see most of the map. Ain't bad, as they'd say down in Pinebox, Texas. Ain't bad. Maybe resize it down a little bit and try to get the sort of the bottom half of the bottom row of tokens to display. Shrink it down a little. Move it up a little bit. Oh, and Shep, you didn't think that I had forgotten about your curse hindrance. That simply wouldn't do. How positively inattentive of me should I do that? Bring up tools, draw a card. Looks like a king. I hope it's a good one. Let's see, Degrees of Horror, East Texas University, page 15. The hindrance is curse. Every round we start off, or every time we play, we start off with a new manifestation of the curse hindrance king. Oh, I like this one.
What is it?
Uh-oh.
Shep, you have any of that over-the-counter OTC medication remaining? I'm sure you do.
Uh-oh.
I'm sure you do. You're gonna
Probably.
have a level fatigue for the session. I think it would be unfair for me to leverage that level of fatigue right now, as this Risen Revenant of Osiris is probably gonna wipe the floor with all of you. So we'll hold on to that. We'll keep it on the back burner for now.
At
And
least the Revenant didn't fall, want
yeah,
a date ship.
well, it was only the second round of combat. Who knows what might happen? Move us over a little bit here. I got the combat tracker where I can access it. Let me bring up said Risen Revenant of Osiris's card here, because he has some pretty neat abilities. Pretty good abilities. And I would be remiss if I didn't reset Benny's. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what's going on with Benny's here.
We need Bennies to punch Nazis.
Yeah, that's always good. The Savage Worlds rule set gives you a lot of opportunities to leverage benefits, or bennies, these chips that the DM, or the Dean as it is, gives out. You can leverage them to take a little bit of the story into your own hands. Say there's an item that you really wish you had, like a fire axe is the classic example. Is there a fire axe on the wall anywhere? The Dean's response often is, if you give me one of your bennies, there can be. And they can do all sorts of other things. You can use them to unshake if you're shaken. If you want to make that roll. And yeah. So party sheet, reset bennies. Let's put everybody at a stack. And as usual, we have a couple extra PCs in the party sheet. I shouldn't really take advantage of that, so I'm going to take 2 of those bennies back. Don't know if the bottom of the screen is visible, but I'm going to just take 2 out of my pool. Starting me off with 3, 1 for each of the players. And those NPCs that I run that are wild cards, they're kind of like PCs that I run. If they're wild cards, they also have a tiny pool of 2 bennies that they can use to their advantage. Another way we can use bennies is to re-roll. Say there's a roll you'd really like to make and you miss it. Burn a benny, re-roll it. Better luck on your second roll. Doesn't happen on a critical fail, of course, which is a 1 on both your dice, but generally you can do better the second time and leverage that better result. Help your character make that roll that may or may not be critical. So, with that said, we're looking at last round. The Risen Revenant of Osiris drew a Joker. Meant that he got a nice +2 benefit to all his trait rolls, which would be his attacks and his his ability checks and whatnot. On down all the way to Sophia, who rolled a 2 of spades. In Savage Worlds, we don't roll initiative dice. We draw from a deck of cards. And on a tie, if two people say got a 10, it's reverse alphabetical order by suit. So spades beats hearts, beats diamonds, and everything beats clubs. Starts with a C, and it's in reverse order. So I'm going to go to next round. And we have Ahuva, the Israeli captain in the Kisnet, or the Israeli army, who has found herself to this home as well, hoping to find some trace of records of where items and relics and pieces of art valuable to her nation may have ended up when stolen by Hitler's forces and squirreled away or sold, or now in private collections in someone's home, say, or something like that. She's tasked by her government, at least that's her story, to find those and to find out as much as she can about Heimglimmer and how he survived his final days and made his way across the country down to Argentina and then up to Pinebox, Texas. She has a queen. She'll go first. The Risen Revenant is right behind her, hot on her heels with a jack. And then the three members of the class dismissed study group bringing up the rear with 8s and 3s. And as I am wont to do, as recommended by the Savage Worlds rule set, I will give each of you the opportunity to draw a new card, but it will cost you a Benny. These bennies are popular and valuable. You don't want to burn them without due consideration.
I might take you up on that offer.
It is. It's why I mention it. You certainly can do so. Sometimes it may matter. It really may matter. And okay, would you like to redraw, and then I'll go over a few errata items from last session.
Oh gosh, I got a 7, which still puts me in the same place. So I'm just gonna keep it.
Would you like to burn another Benny? You never know. There could be a Joker just waiting to get drawn on the top of the deck.
I'll stick to it.
Sometimes you just got to let the cards, lie where they've been dealt. And you got to let the dice just kind of give you the number where they land. One bit of errata. There was a little bit of confusion on my part last time. Let me address two quick issues. The first are the Nerf spray guns, the super soakers. The super soakers. There was one that is a held with two hands pump action sort of rifle, and there's one that is a handheld pistol. Ava, I was mistaken when I said that you had a range of like 369. Your range is actually 123, as you have that little handheld one. As you fired holy water at the Risen Revenant of Osiris and you missed, then I don't have to retcon anything. You simply missed. But you are currently at long range as you stand atop the table that you share with a canoptic urn, which I will again display just briefly, hand out.
Yeah. I changed the stats of the little gun too to match so that there's no more confusion.
Yeah. We deans, we try our best, but we occasionally make mistakes just like anybody. And the best mistakes are the ones that you learn from and the ones that you don't have to retcon and change the natural flow or the course of the game. So yeah, there's a canoptic urn kind of vibrating on the tabletop next to you. This table seemed pretty sturdy when you jumped up on it last time. It must be of sound, metal and wood construction. There are also a handful, I would say there are 5, 6, perhaps 7 small statues, gold or brass or bronze. They'd make nice bookends. They're about yay tall, between maybe 10 inches and I don't know, a foot tall for one with a kind of a headdress, or how some of the mummies are pictured with like a braid that almost sticks straight up, to give that just an extra inch or two of height to them. And as you are positioning yourself back and forth, they vibrate, they tip a little bit, but they do not fall. The other piece of errata is the attempt, Shep, that you made to cast that protection spell. That is not a relic or an artifact that you are casting that off of. You are going to attempt to cast the ritual. You have the components. So that would take a 5-round action to cast that.
Okay.
Not always something you can do in combat, but if you get lucky, if you can convince somebody to help you, I think when you cast your dark sight spell, for example, you knocked that out in 2 rounds, I dare say. As somebody that was helping you got a raise, you also rolled very well. So not impossible, but it was my mistake confusing the one article that you have that lets you cast a spell from it versus having to pull out the ritual components and cast that protection spell, that armor type of spell, which the component is very easy to get. There are 2. It is a piece of worn leather. By that I mean supple and well worn, not necessarily something that someone has worn. In fact, I think you got yours by buying an old leather handbag and cutting it up into strips and wrapping it with the other component, which is about a foot or 14 inches of stout wire, like baling wire. Something similar to if you were to cut up a coat hanger, a wire coat hanger, that same amount of give and suppleness. So I was mistaken. If you wish to cast that armor spell, it will be a ritual casting.
Okay.
So I'm going to dismiss the Canoptic Urn as it has served its purpose.
You said it was shaking on the table? Is
No,
that
just,
because I'm on it?
if you jump on a table and there's some knickknacks and bric-a-brac, you know how they might vibrate a little bit just from you having your, what do you weigh, about, not even a buck, right? Probably about 90 pounds.
She's probably like between 90 to 100 pounds, honestly.
Yeah.
She's a stick.
Yeah. Just as you shift and you pull out your little super soaker out of that bright blue and yellow plastic or vinyl holster that's sold with it that I imagine you strap to your belt. And as you just pull that out, it's natural that the unsteadiness of this table may cause things to just shake a little bit. But you made a very good. I want to say it was an agility roll that I had you make. Perhaps it was athletics, which would have not been a giveaway roll for you to make. Seemed pretty good. So no issues at all. Let's see. Ahuva likes her position where she is. Last round, she tried an implement that was taken from Frank Mann's or Heimglimmer's fireplace. It was a stout fireplace poker, probably made of cold rolled iron, which would have been pretty effective against the Revenant. But let me start the combat tracker to the next combatant, and it should highlight Ahuva. Ooh. Oh, there it goes. Hung. It made me worry just a tiny march of seconds, 3 or 4 seconds, made me worry if the East Texas University imps and gremlins and homunculuses, homunculi, were hard at work, challenging our patience and our computer skills, but it caught up with me. Ahuva is going to target the Revenant.
Get it, girl.
Let's see. I'm going to click on Control. Click on him again. Okay, it took 2 clicks, but I can see that Ahuva is indeed targeting the Revenant, and she is going to pull her Sig Sauer pistol from her holster, and with one hand still grasping that fireplace poker in a defensive manner, she's going to fire the gun. Bring up Ahuva's sheet. This fantasy ground is a pretty nice interface, but boy, it'd be nice if there was like some sort of shift tab to cycle through all the dialogues. That would make life a lot
I would
easier
love that
for
too.
me. Just, Control Shift or Alt Shift or something like that. But
Just to like minimize little windows here and there.
yeah, her Sig Sauer. Oh, she rolls a 5, clearly misses, but her training in the army has allowed her to position herself so as not to put the rest of you in danger. To get the door right quick, think about what you would like to do this round, and I will be back in about 15 seconds.
Okay.
I hear that, doggo. Oh man.
As promised, I have returned. Let us complete Ahuva's turn and go to the next combatant. The Risen Revenant of Osiris. Upon casual inspection, it appears as if it could be human. It looks far more human than its similar cousin, the zombie, might appear. Its eyes have exceedingly large pupils, but its skin is not desiccated. It is not sort of a sickly yellow-green. No, to all outward appearances, it appears to be rather human. It does not walk or move in that stunted manner that a zombie is known for. And it hasn't spoken yet, but you sense a certain degree of intellect from it, more than the mindless, brain-seeking zombie may otherwise have. It has long claws. It's wearing a t-shirt. It's wearing tattered jeans. And it's wearing no shoes.
Boy.
Who is it going to swing at? Who does it think the threat is? Actually, he thinks he is going to perform pretty easily against you lot. I'm going to change Ahuva's background color from an adversary, a hostile, to friendly. Puts a nice little green glow around her. And I'm simply going to roll a 4-sided die. 1 is Sophie, 2 is Shep, 3 is Ahuva. On 4, I think I'll just re-roll. No, it was aceable. Somehow I managed to get a 5. Let me roll again.
Ace?
I must have rolled a 4 and aced. Okay, that time is a 2. So Sheppy's going to cut the corner, and he is going to swing at you with these wicked, iron-hard claws that seem razor sharp.
Mm.
He will target Shep. He appears to be targeted. And let's see, for some reason, he has also targeted Sophia. So somehow I need to drag this little cross, or actually, I should be able to control click on Sophia and deselect her. And indeed that does. I know that little red circle with the line through it. I can also drag that somehow, but it looks like Shep is the only one that is currently targeted. The Risen Revenant of Osiris, a man, perhaps in his mid to late 40s, although he seems to have led a hard life. As you can tell, he just has that. He could be young, but he has an aged, um, you know, ridden wet and hung up, sort of look to him. Many hard years, probably. Drugs and alcoholism contributing to some degree to a hard lifestyle. Swings his claw. Gets a 7. He beats Shep's parry of 5. That is a hit. It is not a hit with a raise, however.
Boy.
He does 3 points of damage. That does not exceed Shep's toughness, so it does no damage. So he says it's a strength +2. What is his strength? I think I may have entered this wrong. I would recall his strength being better than just a 4. No. Oh my goodness, how did I make that mistake? His strength is actually 8. So I'm going to do a little hand editing on the fly. His claws do not do a D2 +4. Somehow there is an opportunity for me to enter that.
He just caught me with his pinky claw.
It's actually, I should be able to, it's a D8 +2 in reality. Let me close that. And I'm just going to do a quick practice roll to see. Oh, I'm sure that's going to work that time because it changed. But since that was my mistake and I didn't catch it, looks like you got lucky. You fared very well that round. That claw cut down between the two gals, high to low, and just grazed your shirt with no apparent effect. The question is, do I want to burn a Benny to roll that damage again? No, I'm going to need those bennies. I think I will pass. Next combatant would be Shep.
Can you reshare the map for me, please?
I certainly can.
Yay, I can actually see things now.
Okay.
Yay.
Seeing things, that's positive. That's a positive step.
Yep. Okay. And let me see. See is how he's got us cornered.
You could also say that you have him cornered.
I believe in you, friend. Or friends on the other side.
And let me state, as I am wont to forget, is one aspect of Savage Worlds combat that I have a hard time remembering more so than someone who may be shaken or distracted or vulnerable. It's the fact that you do get a gang up bonus on him, since it is 3-on-1. So that really hasn't come into play yet, but I'll remind you and continue to remind you that you're soon to be at a +2. Just throwing that out.
And I'm trying to remember correctly. If I remember right, our occult rose from the last game told us that the chalk circle was keeping him in.
Yes.
Okay.
Not weakening him, not strengthening him. There are many candles around the circle that are lit, and they did flare up momentarily as you entered in. And I forgot to say, but as you came down those steps, the first one to breach that top step and come down here was met with a blast of frigid cold air. probably 40, 45, let's say 50 degrees colder than the ambient room temperature upstairs. It was almost like opening up the door to a big freezer and just hit with frigid air that quickly hit the people behind you and dispersed with no outward effect.
Okay.
But yes,
So,
that it's really keeping him in, but it's positioned in such a way that he could probably reach out and grab someone that's walking by from almost anywhere that he stood.
oh yeah, I just wanted to make sure because soup hands probably is not a good thing to do right now.
Soup.
Okay, looks like a hit.
Okay, using that that gang up bonus, that +2, came in handy for your roll of 5. Went up to a 7. You exceeded his parry, and you can roll your damage. What is this with? Remind me of the weapon that you were using.
This is the coat iron thing. I'm just using the heavy club that's on my deal. I don't know if
Okay.
it's
If I'm
right.
not mistaken, that was an old tire iron, one of
Yes.
those angular tire irons with the hexagonal aperture at the end. You brushed off a lot of the rust, put a little coat of oil on it, and I think you
Mhm.
also hand wrapped the handle with some tape, some of that padded tape that you can use to put a nice padded surface, a gripping
Yeah.
surface on, say, a softball or a baseball bat, or
Yep.
And I just want to
various
double check here.
lawn
The
implements.
damage is just my strength, right? It doesn't give anything unless I get a raise.
It should be a D4
Yeah.
plus your strength.
D4 plus strength.
A D4 plus strength, I believe.
Okay, because apparently, I guess I don't have. Maybe it's the same thing that my knife is.
I think a knife would be
Yeah.
a D4
Yeah,
plus
knife
strength
is.
as well.
Yeah, so let me.
Do a little
Do you
quick
mind?
editing.
Well, do you mind if I, instead of using the club damage, I use my knife?
Does the
as
knife say
the-
D4 plus strength?
Yeah,
And
because the club just
and
does strength.
all right, I'm opening up to somehow I hit the vehicle pages. Ooh, rocket launchers and torpedoes. Cool. Flamethrowers, mines and missiles. Also very cool. I'm going to keep trying. Okay, there's your firearms right there. Personal weapons. Let's see. Club light, strength plus D4. Your
Okay.
dagger or knife is also a strength plus a D4. The club
And
weighs 2 pounds. The knife weighs 1. But yeah, those
I just
two.
want to make sure my attacks and my damage are correct with what I have, because I don't have just that added. I didn't add just that particular thing.
Well, by all means, don't cheat yourself. And since you are a wild card, I will let you re-roll that.
Okay.
Once you have everything fixed up. Okay.
Still unharmed.
Unharmed.
Okay.
He does, and this is not a mistake. He's undead.
Oh yeah.
So he gets a +2 to his toughness. And he also
that's fine. I
and
just
he
was like,
also gets to recover from shaken at a +2 bonus as well. He's tough. He's pretty tough. And
okay, and I'm going to take. Dang. Yeah, I'll stay where I'm at.
okay, so you're happy with your positioning. I think you just indicated.
Yeah.
Very good. And you advanced the turn. Thank you for that. It goes to Sophia with the native clubs. Sophia, what would you like to do?
I would love to use my super soaker around the zombie in front of me.
Okay. As it is a ranged weapon, 4 is your target number to hit. That's right. You don't have a shooting skill, so you D4 minus 2 would be your untrained use,
Yes.
and you got a 5. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the oft-repeated phrase, would you like to use a Benny to reroll that? You don't have to. It's totally up to you.
5, it hits. You said my target
You're
was
right.
4, right?
Well, then why doesn't it say?
It's probably because it's not an actual like attack roll. It's just an unskilled roll.
Okay, let's just try something right quick. Sophia, I'm going to grab the little targeting tool. I'm going to target, on your behalf, I'm going to target the Risen Revenant of Osiris. Now I show you of having him targeted. Can you do another shot? I just want to see. I'm not even convinced I saw the wild die roll. Maybe I did. Maybe it was a 1 on the wild die. Okay.
There was like an extra die there.
An extra guy. Describe that?
An extra die.
Extra dice.
Oh, an extra die. Right.
Yeah, on the first roll there.
I saw that bubblegum pink D6 roll. It is unskilled +2. All right. I guess that's good. A 5 clears a 4, which is the target number for a spray. So if you'd like, you can roll some damage. Let's see. I did look this up. I think it does a little damage. Shakes him.
I don't know.
Don't know? All right, let me look it up right quick. A little bit of holy, holy, holy. Page 49.
Holy water.
Holy water, which you can see. I've been on this page before. Highlighted it in bright orange. Blessed by an ordained or otherwise recognized priest. Fairly easy in this game to obtain. I must make a spirit roll or be shaken. We've got spirit. Yes, we do. We've got spirit. How about you? Traits. His spirit is a D6. A 3 is not successful. He is shaken. I go to the combat tracker. I click on his shaken. No, not incapacitated. No, 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 no. Shaken. And if you're looking at the map, I think you even see that little shaken, like the Batman pow, bam, expressiveness. There is indeed a shaken on him as well. Sophia, there are other things you could do. You can move if you like. You can do free actions like I don't know, say something.
We'll move. I am uncomfortably close to this guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the stairway is right up against your back.
I think I'm good here.
Okay. So as you endeavor to push your way between your companions, it takes a swipe at you as you leave combat. Boy, this is touchy. I just want to get just the right amount visible on the map. Okay, that's good. That's real good. Let's see. I'm going to go up to the Risen Revenant. I'm going to move the little pennant to him. He is no longer targeting Shep. He is instead targeting a limber and live Sophia. He is going to endeavor to claw. Sophia, I have you targeted, and he claws. A 7 is a hit with a raise. Without fighting, looks like your parry is only a 2. Again, just razor sharp claws reach out, and he grabs hold of you around your bicep. And it isn't that does a lot of the damages as you sort of tear yourself free. Those razor sharp nails rend your flesh into just 3 or 4 parallel strips of oozing bloody gash wounds. I guess, unless he rolls kind of bad on his damage, right?
Come on, pinky swipe.
With my fixed with my fixed damage, it looks like Sophia took 2 wounds. This is the point in the game where I say, Sophia, would you like to try to soak one or both of those wounds with a penny?
For those, please.
So I think you drag a Benny onto, I think there is a drop of blood with the number 2. Do you see that on your combat tracker?
I can see it.
Yes, I see blood.
I think that's where you drop your Benny, and your Benny across the top of your card, right? Soak with a 5. It looks like that let you soak 1 wound. You could use another Benny and try to.
Oh.
Wow.
I get with the 14. Wow. Am I like super healthy now?
Wow. So upon second glance, it looks as if, yes, he did rend your flesh slightly, but you have a series of 3, I guess they're like paper cuts across your bicep, probably ripped the sleeve of your shirt. There's a little bit of blood, but you've had worse. You've had worse from an imp atop the Pinebox water tower and purification facility. So apparently, no damage. And now I'm going to move that pennant back down to Ava.
Wish I rolled the 14 first.
Yeah, I believe it is Ava's turn.
So, in the vicinity where I'm at with the table and the urns, is there any kind of like plastic around here? Kind of like a plasticky kind of raincoat kind of material? Because if there's a dead body here, maybe there's something like that here. Because I want to see if I can make a little holy water bombs, like I have salt bombs, and use the slingshot to shoot holy water at him from this distance. MacGyver, I guess it would be more of a MacGyver thing if there is perchance any kind of plastic that could hold a liquid or a small enough container.
You dig in your backpack because you know that the bag that these super soakers came in, you wadded it up because you thought it might be useful, and you were thinking of using the plastic shopping bag, and of course the long super soaker probably only went halfway into the bag, and of course the little pistol one that you were holding went all the way in the bag. Sadly, as you pull it out, you see that the bottom of the plastic bag is ruptured, as often occurs with grocery bags with items in there with sharp corners. However, if you recall, there was a nice young man who checked you out, and by that I mean he rang you up, not that he ogled you, but he also mentioned that there were balloons and things like that, water balloons. Somehow, he must have, as a gag, slipped a bag of 12 balloons, red and yellow and blue and pink and white. 12 balloons in a little pack with a like stapled piece of cardboard to hold it shut, made their way somehow, and you didn't even see, into your plastic bag.
Hey, all right, cool. Then I would like to, instead of using the water in the little gun, take it out of the gun and see if I can fill up a balloon,
Okay.
a little water balloon, so that I can use the slingshot and strike this guy. You know?
Certainly. It will take you a couple of pumps on the little gun and a round to fill a balloon with what you think might be a half a flask's worth, in game terms of holy
That
water.
works.
So that's your action this round. Very good. We will go to the next round. Is there anything you would like to say? You have other free actions you can take. Digging through your pack, took a moment as well. But if there's something you say, that's always a free action.
Let's see. I don't think I have any extra holy water on myself. I would like to call out and ask if any of them have any other holy water on them.
Very well. Very well. And you can take and I'll just go to the next round, and I'll just say sort of off the cuff that you could take a multi action penalty of -2 to all your actions if you want to do two things. One of those things can be to try to bolster or boost one of your friends with a performance roll or a taunt, um, you know, or some sort of persuasion, um, something
I have
like
a
that.
feeling.
Yeah, I just put that out there for next round in case one of you would like to do something like that.
Yeah.
You can also do things like do an opposed check against the Risen Revenant of Osiris to try to make him vulnerable or distracted, to make him either +2 easier to hit or -2 on his attack rolls. If you, I don't know, taunt him, tell him you've seen zombies in Dawn of the Dead that fight better than him. Yeah, something like that. It may work, it may not. But cards have been shuffled, and actually, I don't think they shuffle them unless a joker is drawn, if I remember my rule set and the Fantasy Grounds API. However, Ahuva is way up at the top with a queen, and then we have 10, 6, 4, 2. Even numbers in reverse order. Ava Shep Sophia and the Risen Revenant, sadly, goes last. Would any of you like to draw a card at the cost of a penny? I don't
I'm
hear.
good where I'm at.
Okay. Well, I'm going to draw a Benny. I'm going to use a Benny and draw a card. I'm going to use one of my.
See the Revenant at the bottom there.
He's got to unshake, or he can't do anything except move. That's a little bit better. It repositions him with that 9 just above Shep and Sophia. It's not great. It's not terrible. Let's see. Do I want to burn a Benny because I can unshake, I think, at any time, or do I want to wait until my turn and see if I get a reroll to see if I unshake automatically, and the API will roll that for me. I think I'll stand pat with that. I will stand pat with a 9 of hearts, and I will go to the next combatant, who should be Ahuva at the top. She is targeting said Risen Revenant. She is going to again fire a bullet from her Sig Sauer pistol. I guess he jostled her. A 2 is not going to come close, not even close. And it's I should just say, no effect in game terms, but a firearm being activated in these closed, cramped quarters. This room is about 30 by 30. It's kind of roundish, but boy, it's a deafening shot. Bang.
Yeah.
Hold still. Hold still, I said.
Mhm.
It does not listen. It continues to dodge. Going to go down to the next combatant.
So
I hope you have other tricks, she says to the lot of you. Ava, on a 10.
so my little water balloon would be full in this round.
You know, I thought it would take a full round to do that. You spent last round getting that balloon out.
That was
But you know
only
what? If you want to take a -2 multi-action penalty, I will let you throw it this round or propel it
okay.
this round. So just type a little -2 down in that little beige square, and Ava found the wrought iron frame of perhaps an old mirror or perhaps a portrait. But it's nice and wrought iron and has those little fleur-de-lis, sort of that sort of curved affectation at either corner. She hooked a belt
Yep.
from maybe an old lawnmower or perhaps a vehicle of some type, or perhaps it was just an old bungee cord, one of those long rubber bungee cords with a hook at both ends, with the hooks missing. She did so affix it corner to corner and was using that as a frame, as a makeshift slingshot.
Let's see. Oh, that was terrible. Let me see here. There's a Benny on that.
Well, I don't, I'm not sure that a Benny
Oh
can be
no,
used in
I
this case.
can't.
This looks
It's a
like one
critical
of those
failure.
crit fails.
Dang. She's
Okay.
doing pretty bad up on that table.
All right. So what happens is, let's see. I'm going to just for no reason, I'm
Oh, it doesn't even
I'm going to
pop.
roll a roll a d10. Looks like it came up an 8, just for no reason. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What happens is you just unbalanced and you fell off of the table. The table just couldn't bear your weight, and it falls with you. And I'm going to roll
More
damage
butt
to the
injuries.
canoptic urn. I'm going to just give it a toughness of 2, as it does have a metal affectation to it. And I do 4 points of damage to it. So it is shattered next to you.
Ooh.
It looks like
Do I see anything in it?
You do. You see what appears to be a silver locket on a silver chain, and you also see a piece of cardboard. It looks like a price tag with a piece of string on it. It's a price tag, but it's probably 3 inches long, so it's much bigger than a price tag. But it's kind of shaped that way, kind of long with a hole at one end where it angles out a little bit. A hole's been punched in it, and there's a piece of string affixed through the hole. And this is amid pieces of shattered ceramic and like bronze, the bands around the canoptic urn probably maintain a degree of their form. But yeah, there's a little bit of dust and some shards of ceramic.
Okay. Do
And
I
this,
still have the free action to
yes.
check out the locket?
Oh, boy. Critical failure. Critical failure is bad. I would like you to make a vigor roll to avoid taking a point of fatigue from landing awkwardly on the ground.
Let's do it. Vigor.
Would you like to use a Benny to re-roll that, perhaps?
Yeah, I'll use one for that one. Let's do it. Oh, that was still the same.
Ouch.
Never mind.
Ow. probably landed funny and wrenched. You landed funny on your and wrenched your ankle and knee on one of your legs.
She
Now,
probably did that weird like ankle, like, oh no,
oh,
it bent the wrong way.
and just for a fleeting moment, you think, boy, I wish that was my butt.
High. It seems like trying to get up in high places is just not the place to be for her. She's
Yeah.
meant to stay low to the
You
ground.
know, the other statues, the little gold or bronze or brass plated statues, also slid off and hit the floor. And just you can see amidst the broken pottery, the ceramics, you can see that they seem to be in pretty fair condition. However, uh, anyone that is carrying an ankh or a spear or a staff with a crook at the end or a tall headdress, a tail maybe, appear to be bent, possibly broken, but at least a few of them look like you know, they bore the fall pretty well. Maybe just a little bit of minor damage. Let's see. I wonder if that critical fail indicates that you expelled your water balloon.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if that means that it just blew up as soon as she hit it, or if it just didn't blow up at all and rolled over.
How about a spirit roll at +2
Sure.
to have this happen before you elected to fire? Yeah,
Oh,
no
we got
worries.
some.
No worries. You still have it. You did not expel your 2/3 full water balloon.
Okay.
I imagine you didn't even have time or the dexterity, the nimbleness, as you really had only one hand free to tie a knot at the end of this balloon. In my mind's eye, I see you as sort of giving it a quick twist. You spun the balloon around to put several twists on it, and that's kind of how you're holding it as you propel it. Putting a knot in that's probably a little bit beyond what you can do in, say, 6 or 12 seconds. And just a point of fact, this is only round 4. You guys have been in combat for less than half a minute.
Yep. All
I,
this has happened in less than a minute. Goodness gracious.
I will advance your turn, and we will go to the Risen Revenant, and I will make sure he
I
gets a
will
roll.
do that.
Does he get a
for
roll?
you.
He remains shaken with a 1. Well, that'll never do.
I think that sounds fine.
It's like, oh no, the Revenant is shaking.
He does got a. Let's see, with shake its spirit.
Whatever will Team Noodle Arms do?
They see him dip into his pool of Dean Bennies to remove his shaken status. Let's see, what will he do? What will he
At least you
do?
had to use 2 bennies to get him up and going.
Yeah. Rats. Rats. It wasn't supposed to go this way. If it has a mind, that's what it's thinking to itself. But he's happy enough to no longer target the girl who is now out of his range. But instead, we'll go 1-2 Ahuva, 3-4 Shep. If it aces, I'll know it was Shep. It's a 2. It is an attack on Ahuva Shapiro, the captain in the Israeli army. He targets her. Only seems fair since she has him targeted. She's been relatively ineffective so far.
I know. I told her to use the tire or the poker.
It claws. It aces with an 8, a 12.
Oh no.
That's a hit with a raise. I will apply that special Fantasy Grounds at the bottom left-hand corner, right below where we roll our dice. There's a little D6 that you can click on, and it will add D6 to damage as it hit with a raise. And it will endeavor to kill Ahuva Shapira.
No.
D8 plus 2, I did see that I fixed my die. Let the dice roll where they will. Wow, that is a lot of damage.
Hit
That
so
is
badly.
that is 18 points of damage. 18 points of damage is 3 wounds. I only have 1 GM Benny left. I'm going to endeavor to soak. Wow. She needs a good roll. Soak. Okay, she soaks one of those wounds. She's down to 2 wounds. And I hit the apply button and I apply those wounds. She is she still is incapacitated. She falls. She is not a wild card.
She is knocked out. No bueno.
The Risen Revenant looks hungrily at her body as if he could feast on the blood that is streaming from an injury from down the side of her throat, down, ending just below her, like her breastbone. But no, he remains focused on what it is that he is doing. He doesn't have anything to say. He's happy enough with the positioning. We'll go into the next combatant is Shep.
Okay, since she went down, did she take out the chalk marks, salt marks, or whatever?
I'm going to say since she fell and she is pretty much, 90+% in the circle, I'm going to say no.
Okay.
Good question. It looks hungrily at you. You're next, boy.
Yeah, and your mama wears tennis shoes that are too tight.
He's barefoot, by the way.
Yeah, she's wearing his tennis shoes. She kicked him out.
How dare.
Okay, well, seeing as how she went down and I can't think of anything else to do at the moment, I am fiddling with my my little piece of artifact there and my little pin, and I'm just going to look at him, point my finger at him, and go, "You don't deserve to feast on that. Have some bouillabaisse."
Okay. I'm going to look up the bolt spell. I want to make sure that I give you the right negative on your roll. I think it's a -2. I think it's spirit -2. But I just want to check the power summaries. Bolt. It's 1 power point.
Mm-hmm. And my range is smarts ×2.
It's such a basic spell that this roll is straight up spirit.
Okay. And
You pull out this, it looks like a shiny piece of mother of pearl or polished abalone shell. It's in the shape of a $50. It's round and perhaps a little bit bigger, and it's got like a shiny brass band that runs around it that gives it like a little bit of heft and a little more weight. And you clasp that in your hand between your index finger and your thumb, and you say the incantation word of this talisman, bouillabaisse, and you can make your spirit roll.
I'm going to be any of that.
Oh boy.
And I just do just straight up spirit from the attributes, correct?
That is correct.
Oof. Okay, well, screw that.
Oh no!
That's
gets
all I can do there.
it gets insanely hot. Your hand feels as if you immersed it into a pot of boiling, well, fish soup, essentially. You are going to take a point of fatigue from that scalding pain. I would like an agility check to not drop it.
Okay.
I applied that -1. I'm not going to cost that -1 for your fatigue since the two are happening simultaneously. So that 4 is a success. You hold
Okay.
on to your coin. However, you do have a point of fatigue from bumps and bruises. We'll call this
Right.
scalding.
No. Burned your hands again.
I would ask you if there's something you would like to say. I imagine you say, "Ow," and I will advance to Miss Sophia. Your body shield has dropped. Blood is spraying. It's almost like an episode of MASH with the meatball surgery in
no.
Korea. You know, the doctors trying to stop
Yep.
bleeding as they remove fragments of like bullets and ordnance. The blood's like, you can tell her heart is beating, but it is weakening from the arterial spray. Looks like you got her, hit her someplace nasty.
That is,
Carotid artery, maybe something like that.
well, I'm gonna take another shot at this thing.
Very good. You're still at short range. A 4 would have been your target number to hit, however, with that -2, unskilled with shooting, limits you to some degree.
Is that right?
Are we going to call that a miss, or would you like to expend a Benny to try to roll?
I would like to try.
A 5 is a hit. A 5 is a hit. I will have to roll and see if I'm shaken. I really want, if the fantasy gods are out there watching and listening, I really want an Alt-Tab keyboard shortcut to cycle through my various windows that I have open. Here comes a spirit roll. He fails. I will apply the shaken status to him, and it occurs to you this is the cleanest he's been in quite some time.
Yeah, probably.
What would you like to do to complete the round?
I want to try to help Ahuva. I still have that first aid kit in my bag.
Okay.
So I guess whatever.
Something to consider. Dragging her away would force you, unless you step into the circle and drag her north, it would be very hard for you to drag her and not wipe the chalk outline off. You know, if you would like to drag her towards you, for example, you can't help but wipe that chalk outline off.
So I guess I feel that wiping away the chalk outline is a bad thing.
Not necessarily. It may give him a little more freedom of movement, but he had this whole pentagram to move around in, and he's been very complacent to stand right where he is and to fight from his current position.
Well, I guess I'm just gonna kneel down and try to do it where she lays, so I can get her to get up.
Very good. And with that, I'm going to stop the recording, and we're going to take a really short break and come back and see who will be victorious this day. From the monster standpoint, 1 down, 3 squishies to go.
Squishies indeed, right?